Now, as we're talking about advancing biologics, it only feels natural to end the day looking forward. So, our last conversation of the day will do just that, and we'll look at what's coming down the road in biologics. So, let's welcome Judy Chou to the screen and present on exploring the future of biologics. So, Judy, I would like to just take a moment and have you introduce yourself to our audience.
First of all, Chris, thank you for having me. I'm Judy Chou, the president and CEO of a biotech company called UltraBio. UltraBio is a company located in San Francisco. We are focused on novel therapeutics for immunological diseases. Um, about my background, I got my PhD from Yale University and started my career at Harvard Medical School as a research faculty. I entered the industry first at a company, later on become part of the Abbott and now AbbVie. And fortunately for me, the first project I work on is today's Humira. And then afterward, I moved on to YS and then to Genentech. And then after Roche took over Genentech, I took an opportunity, did my first entrepreneurship being a startup company in San Diego as employee number one, built a company up called Tenvex Biopharma, went on IPO successfully. Then I moved on to a public company, another public company called Medivation in San Francisco, on the executive team, and then drove for the success of launch extending, and also later on another drug after it got acquired by Pfizer. Pfizer retained me to run the pharmaceutical operation. And later on, Bayer talked me into putting all the biologics under one roof. So I had a responsibility from research, development, clinical, commercial. I own the whole space or being responsible for the whole space of the entire biologic pipeline at Bayer Pharmaceutical. So I was as an executive on the big pharma right before taking on this role as a startup company of the CEO. And I have been on this role for 5 years.
Great. It's amazing. Judy, you've been on a tour of big pharma throughout your career.
Yeah, big and small and medium.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And we'll just hop right in with the questions here. And throughout your career, you've been part of a lot of groundbreaking biologic developments. What key factors have driven to those successes, do you think? And how can industry accelerate future developments?
Thank you for that question. And I think that's very fortunate for me. I've been working on so many successful now the market drug, and from the beginning of some of them, like right before launch. If I look back, look at all the key features of all those successful market drug, the key thing is probably no secret. It's still on this keyword about science. It's very science driven, and you got to have the good science both from the clinical side as well as on the CMC side. But if it's anything, you ask me the secret ingredients to make those products successful, I will highlight couples of them. The first one, I will call that as a quick win and quick fail.
Yep.
In a sense, like then really need to drive for the progress of the project with urgency. Even though in our industry, it's not necessarily about winner take it all, but more or less it's like that. It's that being the first biologics launch, you do have this long 12-year exclusivity. That's in US, but the rest of the world starting to embrace a similar concept. In a sense, some people actually don't like that, I understand, but personally, I think that the innovator should be rewarded to having this 12 years exclusivity because it's really a long journey. Otherwise, nobody's going to do it. So like I say, the quick win is then to be able to progress that further on that space. If it's not the first one, it got to be a second one. I think nowadays, the third one still have some chance. Some people like the space further beyond 3. I not so crazy about it. But again, quick win is the key to make things further progress further. I will actually also highlight about the quick fail also, meaning make the decision when you see things are not going well and you make the course correction right away. So hidden there, you look at a successful drug, most of people didn't see that portion. But being there, done that, I would say there's many, many sweats and tears behind.
Yes,
So the failure are probably more than the success people saw
of
at the
course.
end, but really behind that is what supports this success. So that's probably the first factor. And the second one I would say is really the very data-driven decision-making process. It's probably many things behind that. I'll probably just stop there because definitely it's easy to say the data-driven decision process, but this really take a lot of development team that distinguish a good development team versus a
Right.
not so efficient development team. Um, so the third factor is this set up the strategy upfront. This is very important about having the strategy will guide to setting up the structure, and the structure will guide the people doing the right behavior and also culture. So I'll say in summary, if I look back, the key feature about the successful drug, first is quick win, quick fail. A second is then the decision making. And third one is really setting up the strategy upfront.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I know the quick win, quick fail. It's so hard to let go of something that you've been working on. I think that's the hardest thing for anybody. It's natural, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I
Yeah.
think you highlight that. That's easy to say, right? And
Yes,
what does
exactly.
quick fail mean? That's flow is the arts. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a funny thing. It's a very human thing, I think.
Yeah.
So that's great. And so my next question is, you've been at Ultra, or you've been work. I don't even want to say working at, but you've been building Ultra Bio now for 5 years. So I would be curious to hear, what kind of advancements in biologics have you seen expand over the last few years? And since we are talking the future of, what do you anticipate for the next 5 years?
Yeah, the past 5 years, if I allowed to put the ultrabio thing aside and looking
Sure.
overall for the biologics world, I think it's a very, very exciting time. I actually even call that as this big bang of biotech. And what I meant is then for a big bang, many exciting things all need to happen at once.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like everywhere, everything all at once in a sense. So
Yeah.
that need to looking, what do I mean about that? Because first, a lot of novel target, novel science is starting to emerge. So a lot of things, the disease we were not able to address, and now we can look having a better science to tackle that question. So that's one. And second thing is also the new modalities. You can never ignore that because this really enable a lot of different approach we
Hmm.
did not used to have. And the third thing also about this digitalization, AI, and the Internet of Things. And that also happened about the same time. And the fourth thing, maybe a little bit more past 5 years, I don't know, moving forward will still be the case. And I will highlight about the regulatory landscape change. Have to give FDA particularly a lot of credit about being very innovative, thinking about this fast accelerating approval. This approach did not happen until this recent 5 years and make a huge difference about bringing things. So if you look at the size, the new modality, and the technology side, like AI and digitalization, and also regulatory, and all happen at the same time, something better will happen now. So I think the excitement about the past 5 years has been like that. And this is the overall, and a little bit about UltraBio. I would not want to ignore that. For us, we pretty much embrace everything. Probably tiny little exception is we are not quite launch our new modalities yet, but fully definitely is in our planning. And for any company be able to fully realize there's a whole big bang of an effect, I think that's really the key, and that's the excitement.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, and what do you think of, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but what do you think of the next 5 years? Have you seen anything coming down the pike that you're, excited about, or what are your thoughts of the next 5 years?
Yeah, if I allow to answer that question, more or less carry my Big Bang theory,
Yeah,
and
I
then
love it.
yeah, so post Big Bang, right? Because then if you
Yeah,
look at the universe, and that's where the beautiful things starting to happen. So I
exactly.
anticipate the outcome of those merge of this force all at once. We're starting to see novel approach to address the disease need. And then also, like I say, some of this new technology enabling, no matter it's the digitization or the new modality, starting to enable a lot of approach. Particularly, we're talking about those unmet medical needs, rare disease, and this has become more and more addressable. So I anticipate that for the upcoming 5 years, this is a post Big Bang effect, and we're starting to generate many novel projects and novel approaches, and those should be really making the groundbreaking and make a difference for treating diseases.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's fascinating. I like that term also, post Big Bang. Um, so through a lot of the day of conversations that we've had, technology just keeps coming up, and new technology, emerging technology. So I would be curious to hear from you, just given your experience, what insights can you share for biotech companies looking to integrate emerging technologies and drug discoveries and development?
Yeah, and I think I actually once do this prediction, and this is going to be recorded as a record. So somebody maybe
Yes,
5 years later can challenge me about I'm totally wrong or right. I anticipate, I mean, for most of the biotech company would totally benefit from the AI technology. However, humbly, I feel for the upcoming 5 years, probably going to be in the area of the drug development, like the translational research,
mhm,
and then the clinical research, as well as then more about the patient data collection and like the clinician
yeah,
assistant. These three areas. And again, I will stick to my words and let's see if the 5 years. So the reason why I say that, the discovery itself, it does have this benefit about a little bit from AI, but I see more about the translational research will be even more. As we all know, the the key thing AI can do, it's more about from you have 1 to 2 to 10 to 100, but from the 0 to 1, still take a lot of
great.
novelty to be able to identify that. So that's a piece. If anybody's scared about AI, I think then focus on something you can do from 0 to 1. And that's why I highlight the translational research. And under the clinical research, definitely we can be facilitated a lot because currently we are in this, I feel this is the area have been gone on too slow. So now
Yeah,
we have to leverage the technology to be much more efficient. And the third area about the patient, the clinician, and I totally believe this co-pilot system. 5 years ago, I clearly remember a lot of clinicians would say never ever want anything to do with AI. And I think most of the uh, physician community starting to embrace the benefit about this
great.
co-pilot system, right? You still need a
Yep,
pilot, but the
right.
co-pilot will actually be needed and facilitate and enable many things. And I see that's coming. So I anticipate for most of the drug development company or drug discovery and development company will benefit from these three things and to accelerate the drug development.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I know. It's interesting how AI has just kind of become part of our daily lives now and so much. So I think it's kind of fascinating. And I always like physicians, I guess I resisted as well, but here I am. So so I would just be curious, and I want to flip that a little bit on its head, that last question on its head a little bit. And with, you've mentioned new modalities and increasing complexities in biologic treatment. So what do you think are some of the challenges, the coming challenges, and how can companies navigate these challenges, do you think?
Yeah, if I can address the challenge in two different perspectives, particularly you asked me the question on the biologics side. And so on the common biologics, more about protein, monoclonal antibody, and the other is the cell gene therapy. So I see for the biologic the one not the cell gene therapy, the biggest challenge will be coming from the biology side still. Like I say, we will benefit from the technology, digitalization, AI to accelerate many things. But from 0 to 1, it still require a lot of the talents because the bar was set higher and higher, which is a good thing.
Right.
So, but I think that's the challenge, particularly on this more established modality like a biologics, monoclonal antibody, or protein. On the cell gene therapy, the challenge is still on this process side. To make it a much more scalable, I think it's still in the huge development side. So the whole complexity for both are all equally big, but one is more the biologics, the science. The other is a little bit on the technology side. So this biotech side about both sides about the challenging will be coming still, and we need to be able to address this complexity.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, Judy, we're almost done, so I want to get your a quick take from you before we end, and just
Yeah.
kind of, looking ahead again. I hate to make you pull out your crystal ball again, but what are the most promising therapeutic areas where biologics could have a big impact in the next decade, do you think?
Interesting. Okay, so like I
Yeah,
say, somebody will look at this 5 years later to
yes, it is on the
hopefully
record.
not make fun of me. I'm pretty sure for for biologics side, I still anticipate the biggest difference it will make will be still in the I'm totally passionate about immunology and inflammatory diseases. So this so-called I&I space.
Yep.
This is complicated as we just briefly talked about. So this definitely require much more sophisticated drug like biologics and some maybe even cell gene therapies. So I&I is the first one. Oncology will still require biology to address again for the specificity reason. It's hard to, as we all know, like a recent 20 or 30 years, the groundbreaking more or less in the biologics to make a difference in the oncology space. I think that still be the one. And the third one, I would say, in the rare disease. So I focus my answer more about what biology can make a difference in these three areas. From the disease point of view, I think something would be making a difference, and we already saw this, is more cardiovascular metabolic diseases. I am not quite sure the typical biologics can make a huge difference. Currently, we see the peptide making a difference. Maybe down the line, we'll get more and more into the small molecule area. And the second area, which may still start from the small molecule, is the neurobiology area. So those two areas I will consider will have the groundbreaking. However, will take a while for biologics to be able to directly make a difference in these two areas, but there's a huge medical need in I&I, oncology, and also rare diseases.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's great. Well, Judy, I can't promise that we won't send you this in 5 years.
Okay, please do though, please do,
Yes,
because I think I'm right.
exactly, exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's fun
Yeah,
to have this dialogue with you.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Thank you so much, Judy, and take care. And we hope our paths will cross again soon. Of
Yeah, same here. Thank you.
course. All right, everyone. That's it. I think we've covered a lot of ground today, and I'm grateful to all the speakers for their time and their expertise. And thank you to Orientation Marketing and all of our other sponsors for making this possible. And I look forward to seeing everybody at a future virtual event or hopefully a live event in the future. Thank you so much.